Give me a couple of seconds here. Give me a couple of seconds here. Give me a couple of seconds here. Oh. Looks like the good brother Ish is here. Bring you in a couple of seconds, big brother. Okay, cool. Ish is here, so we're good to go. Peace. Ish, peace, good brother.
Peace, brother Doe. How you doing, family?
Good, good, good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, King. I'm doing well.
I like that sweater.
I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. You know, I'm a Ross design.
I got to use the Star and the Crescent because I ain't got no sweater like that.
Understood.
How you been though, bro? How's everything going with this with the virus with you?
Good, bro. I mean, everything's good. The family's strong. Everything's coming along really well. You know, just keeping proper information going out to the public and stuff. It's good, man. We're good. Blessed.
Fantastic.
How about you? How things your way?
Yo, you know what? Everything is good, brother. I listen. I've been working throughout the whole thing.
Right.
Let me bring HOLIP in. I do electronic security for Stop and Shop, Hannaford's, and other grocery stores. So I got to be well protected, but I'm not afraid. You know what I'm saying? So I just do what I do, and I try to be as careful as I can. So far so good.
Good. That's very good. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we talking about whoever that is.
Peace, HOLIP.
What's up, Ish?
All right, peace, King. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
Excellent. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones that can actually work from home. So
yeah,
I know everybody doesn't have that luxury. I feel for them.
Right. I'm fortunate also. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Word. So we'll probably retouch this topic at the end of it, but so let's get on here. So brothers and sisters, Salam alaikum, Hotep, peace, Black African power. It's your host once again, Brother Minister Dawood, bringing the 13 Revolution experience to YouTube. I have here good brothers with me. I have my brother HOLIP and I have my brother Ishmael Bey. We tried to reach out to THURO, but we weren't able to get him. But this is a show that we've been talking about doing, I think, for a year now. And me and HOLIP, we talk very often, and we was having this very conversation like last week. I said, yo, you know what? It's time for us to go ahead on the radio and do this, because many people talk about hip hop, but three of us come from very powerful conscious platforms. And I think that you would see our view of hip hop in a very different light. And so therefore, be that as it may, before we get started, can you just give me a brief description of yourself, Brother Ish, for people who don't know you?
Sure, absolutely. Ishmael Bey, gone through many different chambers as far as just different schools of thought. Co-founder of I'm a Raw Squad. Please feel free to join my forum. I'm a Raw Squad African Moorish Scholarship. I've gone through the Moorish schools of thoughts into a lot of the Moorish American history and how it applies also to today. I'm a member of the Afro-Descendant Nation, which is an independent nation recognized by the United Nations itself. And just right now, we have 130,000 registered citizens and growing. So as we continue to make our moves as far as that part of the liberation, just as integrated and rooted in that is my love for hip hop. I'm a hip hop baby. I'm a hip hop descendant, so I'm here to share and give my perspective on it.
Indeed. HOLIP? Nobody knows you, so you gotta introduce yourself. Everybody knows you.
I am a proud member of the real BAIO at BAIOAfricstan.org. I just posted the link. I'm a Black nationalist, African Senate progressive, and my thing and my whole vibe since I've been on YouTube is about nationhood. So
Indeed.
that's all you need to know about me.
Indeed. So we're all above 45, I think, right? All three of us.
Hmm.
Right, right.
Okay, fantastic. This is perfect, man. I sure wish THURO was here, but it is what it is. All right, so let me hit you with the first question out of the gate. When did you hear like your first hip hop banger that made you say, "I'm sold on this culture for life"? Ish.
Hip hop banger. I would probably say, hip hop came up as something kind of really strange to me because I was probably maybe about 12 years old. And the thing is, I'm from Syracuse, New York. And
Right.
when you're from Syracuse, New York, you have a lot of the students that go to Syracuse University from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So as the culture was coming up in New York City, they would then go, of course, to school, and we would catch the vibe at the ground level because that
Right.
was so new in New York. So we
Right.
were able to, in the late 70s, get exposed to hip hop. And it was strange because the things that I would expect to see, example, Curtis Blow had came to do a performance at our one of our skating rinks, Empire Skates. And as he was
Mm-hmm.
coming, we were expecting to see a band, like a group, because we had
Right.
not heard of how it was done live. So just
Right.
seeing him come and then just have a DJ, that was something that was totally foreign to us. So as children, we were starting to book our own parties at 15 years old and having adults sign for us to be able to go to the Elks Club to rent out the Elks Club. So as 15 and 16-year-old children, we were throwing our own hip hop parties. And this culture was something that we refused to let die because it was an expression of who we are. So this was around probably, like I said, about between 79 through about 1982 when we were doing that.
All right, HOLIP.
I forgot the.
HOLIP, you on mute, bro.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man, because the question is what made me know that this was for me, like this was something that I loved.
What was the first banger when you heard that? You was like, "Oh, this hip hop shit. That's it. That's it for me."
Ah, damn, that's a tough one.
Okay, you know what? Let me go. Let me go real quick, and then you
Yeah,
can think about it.
yeah.
Okay, so for me, man, I want to say it was Rapper's Delight. I want to say it was Rapper's Delight. Now, mind you, I'm from Brooklyn, and I lived in Coney Island, and in my part of Coney Island, we were like very closed off from everybody else. It was what's called the Sandburton and Townhouse area. So, all my older brothers and all, my friends' older brothers, they all DJ'd, they all had techniques and mixers and things like that. So they would play outside literally all summer long. And remember, back in those days, one song would last you for 6 to 7 months. Nowadays, you got albums, next month the album's going to be released, next month's album's going to be released, in the social media age, things that you release, almost daily. But in our era, you had a banger and that bad boy lasts you for 6 months. And it was very rare to hear it on mainstream radio. So when I heard Rapper's Delight, I was like, what is that? And I remember, we're not going to get too far into Bambaataa because of what happened, but I remember like hearing that. And I remember the intermission kind of music, dun, 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 and I was just like, yo, I'm sold. I'm sold. So Rapper's Delight was it for me. And after that, I think the next thing to take over was Super Rhymes. And that lasted for another 6 months or whatever. I'm not sure if that's the right chronological order, but I know Rapper's Delight is when I definitely knew I was sold to the hip hop culture. But the thing is that, my brothers in them, like my brother's 53 years old. So him and his crew was sort of like the gatekeepers of that. And I don't know if you ever experienced this yourself, but they was almost like, y'all shorties, y'all can't get in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our music. So it's almost like we had to borrow their tapes. We had to do stuff like that. But at some point, my brother went on to college. And when he went on to college, that's when hip hop became our generation, because that's when Molly Mall and Control came out. You had Cool DJ Red Alert. You had the BLS 98.7 War, stuff like that. And that's when we started to own it. KS Run came out with South Bronx. But if I was to put my finger on any one song, it would be Rapper's Delight.
I'm not quite sure about the time frame. That's why it's kind of hard for me to answer this. I have the memory. I go back as far as when Mr. Magic was on a college station.
Damn.
And we used to stay up at 3 o'clock in the morning with those old cassette tapes.
Yep. Yep.
Taping all, so it's not like I can point to one particular song. It was just like, but I do remember this. And this was on when Run DMC came out.
Right.
And this is why it's good to know about history. Because like I see these shows on television and they always talk about Run DMC exploded onto the scene with It's Like That. And that's 100% false.
What? That's what they're saying?
That's what they say. They say, oh yeah, they came out with It's Like That. What people don't realize is It's Like That was the A side. The B side was Sucker MC.
Sucker MC, yep.
That's what they blew up on.
Sucker MC.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like going back that far, I remember that. Nobody was bumping. I mean, I'm not saying that It's Like That wasn't good, but nobody was really feeling that over Sucker MC. Sucker MCs was the one that blew them up. Because I remember when I called the radio station, I first heard it, and it sounded, what made that song, I guess, so popular, it sounded like something that you would hear in the park. Like they managed to capture the spirit of the park and put it on wax.
Wow.
So when I heard it, I called the station, and before I can even ask the guy what it was, he said, "Suck MCs, Run DMC." Because I guess everybody was calling to ask, "What the fuck was this?"
Yes.
And I think that beat just sounded so fly coming out of your box. It's like as soon as you hit it on, it's just boom, cat, 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 cat. It's just a banger. So it sounded so good coming out of your speakers in a park, in your car. It just sounded so fly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one. Like, well, I guess that's my answer. If I had to pick, it would probably be that. I mean, to me, Rappers Delight is a given. Like that just dominated our neighborhood.
Truth be told.
But in terms of like when I heard something, I go, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" That was it.
Word. Okay, so I'm gonna throw out something controversial real quick before I go back to the history. Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, KRS-One. Choose one. Which one was your favorite? I have a feeling I know what Ish's favorite is.
yeah. I mean, you know, everybody know, you know what I'm saying? Our nickname today is the God, you know. It's definitely Rakim, no. It would be Rakim at all.
Okay. I thought you would choose KRS-One for some reason.
No. I'm not a big KRS-One fan like that. I respect his influence within the culture itself, but he went real hard body supporting Bambaataa. So I removed him out of my support category. And we cannot ignore Bambaataa's influence on hip hop in those intricate, you know what I mean, years also. That cannot be ignored. But again, I put him on that, you know what I mean.
So Ish, why Rakim?
Yeah.
Rakim, to me, his style of expression, it shifted a paradigm. It was a paradigm shift of how lyrics are delivered. And it took it to an entirely different level. And I think his infusion of his form of expression of jazz, it came across lyrically. So when you shift the paradigm like that, that's something that I try to do. I try to apply that type of method in my scholarship. That's how influential he is to me.
So what's crazy is, and I'm going to come to you for a second, Holip. What's crazy for me is, like, I remember the first couple of weeks when Rakim came out, we called him Eric B. Because the first song that I heard was Make 'Em Clap to This. So all you kept hearing is him saying Eric B, make him clap to this. So people would be like, yo, you heard Eric B? And I'd be like, yeah. And you know, you would go places and people would say, play Eric B. Nobody really listened. It was Eric B is on the cut and my name is Rakim. You know what I'm saying? So that would come later. But for me, you know, so for me, I loved Rakim, but I'm gonna give mine after Holip gives his. Which one of the three, bro?
Well, let's just put it this way. Rakim is like the Jesus of hip hop. It's before Rakim and after Rakim.
I understand.
That's just objectively what it is. When he came on, he changed the whole freaking game. So it's like You had what was going on before him, and then what was going on after him. Because basically, everybody that you've seen after him is in his mode, so to
Right.
speak.
Right.
Like you can like Nas, you can like Kane, you can like all of them, but they all came after Rakim.
This is true. But
Yeah.
you know who I'm gonna choose. Go ahead, Ish.
I was say one of the gifts that I got from my graduation gift was Rakim. I graduated in 1986. They gave me and played at my graduation party my melody.
Oh wow.
Right.
So as I was 18 and graduating from high school, that influence came as my adulthood, literally my adulthood. That was one of my gifts, was that song, my melody.
Mm. I love my melody, man. But I'm gonna blaspheme.
I know who you gonna pick.
Yeah, without a doubt. Mine, I would have to say Big Daddy Kane. And I love Rakim. I really do. Always will. Big Daddy Kane music has more an effect on me. You know what I'm saying? Rakim's lyrics was hard, but Big Daddy Kane, I think, had a better choice of beats when it came to his album than Rakim did. I always felt like Rakim was undersold with the beats that they chose. You know what I'm saying? And history is history. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I love all of those songs mostly. But myself, I would choose Big Daddy Kane because the lyrics, the confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like I just never seen a dude like that. And if you like, there's a documentary out there. I forget exactly who wrote it, but Molly Mall talks about how Kane changed the game because at some point nobody was rapping that fast. You know what I'm saying? And when Kane started rapping that fast, everybody had to speed up their raps. I'm not saying that he was better than Rakim, but what I'm saying is that for me, living in Coney Island, I had a flat top. You know what I'm saying? As a side note, I was so disappointed when I finally seen what Kane looked like because I thought his flat top was 6 inches and it actually was 3 inches. And y'all have always known me with a bald head, but I had a 6 inch, 7 inch flat top when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? So it was what it was. But yeah, I would choose Big Daddy Kane. So
Let me give you a Kane story since you're a Kane person. This is, remember the Palladium?
yep.
Yeah.
Remember the Palladium?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was at the Palladium, and Kane. This was when Ain't No Half Steppin' was out. I was there, chilling and walking around the club, and I got to see Kane do a freestyle with Buffy from the Fat Boys.
Yep. We lost you.
Oh, you missed it?
Yeah, nah. We missed it. What did you say?
I said I got to see Big Daddy Kane doing a freestyle at the Palladium.
Uh-huh.
The human beatbox from the Fat Boys
Yep.
doing the beat.
That's dope. That's hip hop. That's dope.
Yo, we got a little argument going on in the chat room, so I want to bring it to y'all. Big Brother R, peace to Big Brother R. He said, "What would your opinion be on LL Cool J?" They are not feeling LL Cool J in the chat room, but I'm gonna go first on this one. My thoughts of LL Cool J is always going to be near and dear to my heart, but the early Cool J, as in the first 2 albums, Cool J, because the first 2 albums, LL Cool J was a monster. You know what I'm saying? Even I would say Redemption, I think he made on Mama Said Knock You Out. So I'm still going to love that early LL Cool J. What he meant to Crush Groove, which we're going to get into the movie in a second. What he meant to Crush Groove, what he meant to the culture itself. LL Cool J was nasty. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I can't front on LL, the early LL. Later on, he realized that he could sell albums to females. So what he started doing was he started marketing towards the sisters. And I, being a grown man now, I'm not mad at him for that. I was when I was young. I ain't gonna lie to you. But you know what I'm saying? So those early album LLs plus, do you remember LL on that EPMD song, Rampage? You could get rugged.
yeah, he murdered it.
I remember
You know
that.
what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, like he was a monster on that. So you can't really front on LL. You really can't. But when Cannabis went against LL, he kind of made him a caricature of himself. What do y'all think?
I don't understand the LL. Well, I do understand the LL Cool J hate. I do.
Right.
they never like once like I think you put it best. Like once he
Me personally, I admire LL's longevity,
yeah.
Word.
Now his
ability.
his lyricism, he's not people sleep on him as a lyricist too. I don't understand why. Like because I remember when y'all was bumping his songs. I remember.
Yep.
I remember when y'all was playing them in the streets. So don't act like you ain't you well. Come on, man. Come on, stop it. Just stop. What the problem is that your girl is attracted and you automatically you hate him.
Right.
So that's all it is. It's like a bunch of hatred on that level.
Yeah, he's one of the to me he's one of those pillars of hip hop, and he's carried it where he's gone, even the different realms and arena he's kind of helped push hip hop going into. So he gets respect for me. And as for Kane and Rakim, the comparison, unbelievable. I don't really put one as over the other.
Right.
It's just different forms of influence. And Kane had the ability to use wit and not just so serious. You know what I mean? Not so serious. He could put that wit in there. He could use the charm. He used sex appeal. He opened the doors for brown-skinned brothers like me to be embraced in the fuller stream. Love Kane, man. Kane's very, very influential also. Much respect.
They're so different. And it's like comparing Kane to Rakim is almost like he's like a spoken artist. And you're comparing a spoken artist to like a pimp. It's like it's like they just have two different styles. But in terms of like just straight up lyricism, I will put Follow the Leader and Let the Rhythm Hit Him against anybody's entire catalog. Lyrically.
Those are some strong words right there.
I will put him against anybody. You name the person, I'll put him up against those two songs. Those two, like when I first heard, I don't know if y'all remember.
I second that. I put.
Oh wait, Ish went out. I didn't hear him.
You went out, brother.
No, I was agreeing with you. I would put Follow the Leader against any song, word for word, lyric for lyric, and I think Rakim will come out on top. I think it's one of the best ever written. That song.
Do you remember? I asked both of y'all. Do y'all remember when that song came out?
I remember when it came out, and it was confirmed later on that it was really a response to EPMD. They were taking some shots at him, and this was actually a battle verse that he wrote, and it was in response to those two in particular.
Well, I remember when it came out, and I heard it on the radio, and I was with my cousin when we heard it, and the first thing that went through our head when we first heard the beat was, how is he going to rhyme off of this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I heard the beat, like right now, you've heard him rhyme off of it, so it kind of you don't really get it now. But when you first heard the beat drop, I was like, how is he gonna rhyme off of this record? Right. And he came out, and it's like that record blew everybody's mind. Like lyrically, people was questioning whether they should be in this game or not.
Yo, let me say this about LL before we move on. Here's the mic drop right here. If you're at any kind of social gathering and you throw on Jingling Babies, everything shuts down. Everything shuts down. And don't tell me no different. As soon as you throw on Jingling Babies,
facts.
Everybody gets up and everything shuts down. So we cannot take that man's name out of history, because not only did he have bangers, but he had stuff that we have emotional attachment to. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mama Said Knock You Out is always going to be near and dear to my heart also. All of those songs, Break It Dawn, like Illegal Search. You know what I'm saying? Like him and Molly, they went in the studio and they came out and they was ready. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, it's like, if you think about Rock the Bells, if you think about, all of these particular songs that I remember going through high school, that makes me think about specific events. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to get into after we get into the movies, is stuff that you're emotionally attached to. But I guess what I want to talk about now is this. What was your favorite hip hop movie?
Ooh.
Think twice before you say this because you'll throw something out there and somebody will say something else and it may kind of make you rethink it.
Favorite hip hop movie.
Yeah.
Favorite hip hop movie.
Now we can include breakdancing in this, so that's included also because it's all a part of the culture.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be a tie between Beat Street, Crush Groove. Crush Groove is like the granddad. I watch Crush Groove today. I watch it. I would.
Yeah, I was thinking about B Street. I would probably say Crush Groove. I would probably say Crush Groove.
Did you see the movies, bro?
And I would say B Street.
Word? Okay.
Yeah. Those are the top two. It's gonna be one or the other. I mean, for New York, you had other hip hop movies, but those are more Cali movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Why Beat Street?
I think Beat Street actually captured more of the culture itself. Like in hip hop, you kind of had to get in where you fit in,
right.
and it was open to graffiti writing, to dancing, to rapping, to DJing. It covered the genres of everybody being equal, and it tapped in all of those within the movie itself. So I respect that because graffiti writers are just as much a part of that culture at the ground level as any other aspect of it. DJing is also. So that's why it's important to me.
Indeed. HOLIP?
You asking what about Beat Street?
Yeah, no. As in, give me your why. Why you chose those?
Crush Groove? I don't know. I guess Crush Groove was more home to me in terms of like something that I could relate to personally.
Right.
Like that because of the time frame that it was made.
Mm-hmm.
So and as a movie, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie.
I thought it was a great movie, honestly. Yeah. Like I you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason my mom was not doing good economically at that time, so I couldn't see it in the movies. So I remember having to see it like a year or two later, and I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like I really would have wanted to see this in the movies. Because you know how it is. Everybody comes to school the next day and they're not gonna not spoil. They're gonna tell you everything that happened. You know, and not in sequential order either. Like, you know, the human beatbox did this, then after that, LL did that, and you're like, all that happened in the first 5 minutes? Word, but for me, Crush Groove to me represented how. Okay, so here's why Crush Groove is near and dear to me. Crush Groove is near and dear to me because it represented, and I don't know if y'all remember this. There was a time where we were transitioning out of it wasn't cool to pop, it wasn't cool to break anymore. It was just about rhyming. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, like people were still doing it, but not everybody was doing it. Beat Street for me represents the time where everybody was breaking, like popping, you know what I'm saying, as well as rhyming. So it covers all parts of the culture. So to me, even though they came close to each other, they represents two parts of the hip hop culture era. Because I feel like when we was in Beat Street, that's when hip hop was at its peak. You know what I'm saying? Young hip hop, excuse me, was at its peak, where your grandmother thought about popping. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. When Crush Groove came, I remember. Don't take this the wrong way, my Latin brothers and sisters. But when Crush Groove came out, I remember when you tried to break, and dudes in Brooklyn was like, "Man, you ain't Spanish. You better." We're trying to tell you that, you know, like that's a Spanish man's sport, like or whatever. Even though I had windmills, believe it or not, I had backspin, and I was trying to put together a headspin, but I almost broke my neck, man. That was the hardest thing to do. I think I had the hand glide, I had the side glide, I had floats. You know what I'm saying? And I was getting into really doing good windmills, and then somebody decided that it wasn't cool no more. So then we couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So when Crush Groove came out, that's when MCing started really getting the spotlight and the focus. And what I love about Crush Groove also is it writes two dudes' names in history that people try to forget: Jekyll and Hyde. Remember Jekyll and Hyde?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like if you talk to a young person now, you'd be like, "Yo, there was these two monster dudes who dressed up in a suit, tie, and glasses and could kill a mic." They'd be like, "What are you talking about? Who is that?" You know what I'm saying? And they would not know, but if you let them hear like some of these stuff, you'd be like, wow. Because at some point, Jekyll and Hyde ruled the airwaves for like a 90-day,
Yeah.
120 stretch.
Mm-hmm. I
So
remember.
And also I think that it was important for Crush Group is because it literally kind of gave a good storyline to the way that Def Jam came from and where it was going. It merged two major things by even bringing in a major artist like Sheila E.
right,
into the movie because it merged two different realms of Sheila E was connected to Prince.
right,
And again in 86 they were still trying to abort the culture. I remember it distinctly because you had groups like Cameo that was attacking hip hop, try to put on those airs and act real cool, but you got to realize that you're acting like fools. R&B was attacking hip hop at that time, and
what?
we had doubled down, and we were saying we're not going to die. They were trying
Right,
to abort that fetus. So I give credit to groups like Stethasonics, who had did the song "You Talking All That Jazz" as a response to Cameo. In other words, hip hop was then getting our armies together, saying, "You're talking all that jazz about how we're not going to last. We're going to last forever." So
right,
we had doubled down as our army, and R&B was trying to kill us. But then we had certain artists in R&B that were still embracing us, like Bobby Brown.
right,
Bobby
right,
Brown wanted to still. He was kind of first. He was trying to be sold as Baby Cameo. If people
right.
remember that, he was being
Yep,
produced by them and everything. He then rebelled and embraced his hip hop side
right.
and came through. So that was a battle that was going on in 86 and 87 of them trying to kill the
Yes,
culture
I
until we
remember
just
that.
broke through.
I remember that because I was involved in it. I used to make this argument, and it would kill all of that discussion. I used to ask the same people who would disrespect hip hop, "What's the difference between Bobby McFerrin and Dougie Fresh?"
A
That's what
legitimate
that's
question.
what kill it. That would kill it. Because you can't say, "Oh, Bobby McFerrin, he's an artist," and then you're going to put down Dougie Fresh when they're doing the same damn thing.
Mm. Then y'all getting ahead of us. Y'all got to calm down. We're gonna get there. They're bringing us into
Brilliant,
the Biggie era, man. Like we still back in the 80s.
brilliant analogy, by the way. I like that
Yeah, it
comparison.
was. It definitely was. And you're right though. Like I didn't really realize that was going on, but I know that, like I said, once my brother and all of them moved on, and our hip hop started coming in, I know I was a staunch, you know what I'm saying, supporter representative. I was not letting it die. I could not let it die. And you're right. Not only was R&B attacking it, but some older people on radio stations was trying to attack it too, like taking shots at it all the time and saying like that's that young people's music. There's violence around it. The media was attacking it, saying hip hop encourages violence and the use of drugs. Meanwhile, we was going through the crack era, and hip hop ain't have a damn thing to do. Hip hop was kind of a response to the crack era. Most of the artists at that particular time. So I do remember that.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
I say?
and let's go. I'm sorry. Go ahead, hold it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, like, just to build on what you just said. This is the reason why I love Rakim so much, is because, and what kind of shapes my of hip hop in general is
Hmm.
as an example of the art of hip hop, and you couldn't deny it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There were certain things. There were certain, and I won't just say just him. It was other people doing it too. But I can point to those artists and say this represents the art of hip hop.
Right.
Like I can point to a Jazzy Jeff and say he's an artist because you can't do what he can do.
Right.
Like if it's so
True.
easy, get on two turntables and do the same thing that he's doing.
Hmm.
If it's easy, so that's how I looked. I always looked at hip hop as an art form.
Yep.
I don't
Mhm.
think I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I'll just make this statement. I don't think that hip hop is looked at today as an art.
Me neither.
And that's why I can't really relate to it. I'm not putting it down. I'm not saying it is whatever. I'm not making a value judgment. I'm just giving you I'm letting you know where I come from in regards to how I view it.
Oh, we'll get there. We're definitely gonna get there.
Yeah, I mean, they the skills that it takes to do what was done. It showed the ability and the gifts of those particular artists. And
Mm.
again, at the same time, rock and roll was not a fan of hip hop. Rock and
Right.
roll was already used to devouring our expressions because they had just destroyed disco. They literally had burnings of disco records in baseball stadiums.
Yep.
You know, so and that's something that we saw as children, them destroying disco. People forget that the original Fat Boys, their original name was Disco 3. So we were coming out of that era of disco, and you'll hear some of the early songs talking about discos and things like that. And the clubs were discotheques.
Right.
That the parties were being held at. So we were coming out of that realm, and rock and roll was already used to trying to destroy our culture. So there were multiple people against hip hop.
Which is ironic, don't you think?
It was R&B against us and rock and roll against us. But then when Run DMC came, they said that they were the king of what?
Rock. King of rock.
Right. So we were already, again, our armies were already circling our wagons saying, no, we busting through this.
Right. And it's so ironic that, you know, like, for rock and roll to try to claim, like, to go to war basically against black culture is the ultimate irony. Because Led Zeppelin, and I will give them credit, Led Zeppelin does give respect to the blues artists that they listen to. So I'll give them that respect. But if you listen to Led Zeppelin, all Led Zeppelin is amplified blues. They're not even heavy metal. So most of the people who talk about rock and roll, they don't know what the fuck they talking about.
Right.
Because all of your early rock and roll artists were heavily influenced by old bluesmen who didn't get on.
Right. Right.
The Beatles, the Rolling Stones,
Mick Jagger,
Led Zeppelin, Cream, the King, all of those guys took from old blues artists. And most of those riffs that you hear were taken from old blues artists. Some were given credit, some were not. So most of those people talking that rock shit and acting as if rock is some white thing. No, Run DMC's right. Yeah, they are the king of rock.
Yo, so check this out. Well, let me just say my piece on that. I went to summer camp for 4 or 5 years in Brighton Beach, New York, and when I was there, all I ever heard was disco sucks. That's all I ever heard.
Yeah.
Brighton Beach is like a totally white area mixed with Italians and Jews. And me, my brother, and one other person, we was only black people in that summer camp. And every year we went there, disco sucks. And we had to, you know, on the way home, you know, because they rock playing and shit like that. And on our way home, then you start to hit disco and you start to feel like yourself again. But on that bus out there, as soon as you crossed over into that area, it turned into a rock area, and they had their own rock graffiti and all that other stuff. I ended up liking some of the rock that they had. I'm not gonna lie, but not a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Some of it, but not a lot of it. But I guess what I want to ask you is this: before we move into kind of the modern era, what's the first scratch record you heard where you was like, "What the hell is that?" Where a DJ was really cutting and scratching. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, you had the regular scratching, then you had the transform. You know what I'm saying? You had the transform and stuff like that. So what do you think is and I know this is going to make you really think, but what is the first scratch record you heard that you was like, wow, that is incredible?
Jazzy Jeff.
Which song was that though?
I'm the rapper.
Oh, yeah, I'm the
DJ, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, word.
And I think they did the performance at Union Square that was live. Where you first heard Jeff.
Yep.
And Jeff is phenomenal, man. That dude is crazy.
Yeah.
Ish. What's the song? What's the scratch?
I would say just overall, just knowing the scratch would be it would be like the Grandmaster Flash, because I think people were getting confused of who Grandmaster Flash was and not knowing who Grandmaster Melly Mel was.
Right.
And Grandmaster Melly Mel is one of the GOATs. You know, but having the group name that Flash understood marketing at a real early age, you know what I mean? So real early in the game, he knew to put his name out front. And once you saw that crew come out, knowing the skills that Grandmaster Flash had, it was just amazing to me. That was amazing.
Flash was definitely the first one who you can point to that put it on the map. You know, like where that was the feature.
Yeah,
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the first time I heard of scratching and cutting and how it hit me. Because I know I loved it the minute I heard it. I can't remember exactly what was the first song I heard it on.
It
But
was
I
probably
know,
Flash though. Like if you heard it initially a scratch, it was probably Grandmaster Flash.
got you, got you, got you. Because I just I know that, you know, like I said, my older brothers and them, they used to always cut and they used to scratch. And like in the beginning it was kind of rudimentary, but once they got the hang of it, I was like, damn. And that's something like if you hear, okay, so but here's my all-time favorite scratch record. My all-time favorite is Memory Lane by Nas with Primo.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
mackerel.
Yeah.
Like he cuts the shit out of that record, bro. The most favorite MC is coming out of Queensbridge. Like he kills that. Premier, I think, has some of the nicest hands in hip hop. Period. You know what I'm saying? He definitely has some of the nicest hands in hip hop because his scratches were so crisp. Do they still do that nowadays? They probably don't, right?
Yo, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Primo had his battle against RZA yesterday, and by the way, RZA bodied him, but Primo's beats just got that bounce to it, just
Yep.
got that boom bap to it.
Yep.
Oh my God, Primo's amazing, man, amazing.
Well, you just open up the can of worms. Favorite producer?
Favorite producer? I mean, Primo would definitely be up there, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my years of being out here on the West Coast, but I think Dre is absolutely amazing as a producer.
Oh wow. Okay.
Dre is amazing.
HOLIP? HOLIP? Oh, you're still on mute, bro.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Primo,
Got you.
beyond the shadow of a doubt.
You know what I would say, honestly? I have a favorite and I have two honorable mentions. My favorite producer is going to be my favorite producer is going to be Molly Mall. My favorite producer is going to be Molly Mall, and the reason being is that Molly Mall and what he brought with all those artists. To me, that's in my heart. That's deep.
You make a very strong argument.
You know what I'm saying?
You make a very strong argument.
I can't disagree with that, Marley Marl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
where the hell would we be if there was no Molly Mall? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's true.
We'd be nowhere.
That's
So
true. You might make me reconsider what I said.
Well, I got two honorable mentions though. Honorable mention number one, of course, is going to be DJ Premier, but honorable mention number two is Pete Rock.
Oh yeah.
Pete Rock.
Yeah.
Pete Rock's nice.
Pete Rock is the one dude where you bought the album and you kind of turned CL down just to hear his beats. Now, don't get it twisted. CL was nice. I love CL. He's one of my all-time favorite lyricists. But it's just like Pete Rock was the first person to give extra. Like, not only did he have beats, but then he had these interludes with these crazy beats that had nothing to do with the album, or you know what I'm saying? Like before the Wig Out, this one came on, and then before they reminisce on Over You, this one came on. Like he's the first person to do that. And then years later, I remember he started doing his own stuff, and he had a whole bunch of people on it. Like there's one song he did on Soul Survivor with Method Man. That song is incredible. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's Pete Rock. It's definitely Pete Rock. Definitely.
Now, we're East Coast people. You know what I mean? We're East Coast. So I think we may be naturally a little more going this way, but I'll put Dre's catalog against anybody as far as a producer and the influence of him. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that DOC, man, if it was like a one album, like a one-time, one and done, DOC is like an all-time classic album, man, from start to finish. Dre has done some amazing work. You know?
Definitely. And let's not forget that first NWA album.
Yeah.
I remember when my cousin brought that album over to me, and I'm like, who the hell is these Jerry Curl niggas? So the only thing I knew about California rap was that Funk Master Wizard Wiz and all that bullshit from back in those Video Music Box. So that's the first thing.
Remember Ice-T with the spikes?
Yeah, that's the first thing that went through my mind. And he put that on, and I was blown away, man. And especially when I what made me fall in love with NWA is when I heard "Fuck the Police." That was it for me.
Yeah, that was a bold, in your face type of a statement that cannot be underestimated as far as the rawness and the realness of it. Yeah.
See, I'm always I'm a late to the party kind of guy. I'm always late to the party. And I didn't really start messing with NWA heavy until Niggas for Life. But when Niggas for Life came out, oh my God, bro. I played the letters off that tape. I literally did. I played the letters. I loved that tape. I loved 100 Miles and Running. I loved you know, A Nigga Always Into Something. All those songs I loved. You know what I'm saying? And that's me kind of just experiencing Dre. But Dre, like with the Chronic, you know what I'm saying? Like the Chronic was like kind of when I first came into the nation. So I was kind of trying to be sanctimonious in my first 2 years and not really listen to hardcore hip hop. But I would sneak and listen to the Chronic. It's not like anybody told me not to, but you know, I was like, well, as a Muslim, you're supposed to look this way and look that way, and that's too much cursing and this, that, and next thing. But the younger people, because I was at I just came up to Albany. It was 1993, and the younger people were listening to the Chronic every day, and I was just like, whoa, this is incredible. So I couldn't get away from it. You know what I'm saying? So Dre's place in hip hop is definitely like solidified. Period. You can't dispute it. But who else is a banging producer from the West Coast?
I mean, DJ Quick is amazing. DJ Quick is amazing on there. You got some of them who are more regional, as far as like from Oakland and stuff like that. You know, I mean, my brother, you know, Jonathan Owens, you know, or Hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics crew is amazing. You know.
Wow.
So yeah, you know, it's real cool. A lot of influence out west.
All right. I don't know if y'all heard that sound, but that's the plane traveling out to the West Coast. So let's stay out there for a minute. What are y'all thoughts? Okay, first off, favorite either MC or MC group. Now, for me, MC group, hands down, is going to be, believe it or not, Cypress Hill.
Really?
Cypress Hill. I love Cypress Hill.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cypress Hill is amazing. Very influential. Yeah.
You know, and favorite rapper, I have to say, it's got to be Ice Cube. I love Planet Asia, but Ice Cube was nasty back in the day. You know.
Oh yeah.
So, you HOLIP, West Coast.
Yeah, you pretty much answered it.
Got you. Ish? We lost you. Now, here's one thing I will say.
Who's that for me?
Yeah. What's your favorite single artist and group? West Coast.
Oh, my favorite artist is Hieroglyphics crew, and I don't know, like MCs, it'd probably be like Ice Cube. Ice Cube's amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did any of y'all like Razzcast?
Yeah, I like Raz.
I liked him. I mean, he wasn't like one of my favorites, but I did like him. Like he did some stuff that I like.
I've been knowing you too long, bro. When you get that drag before you say something, well,
yeah, because I gotta think like Razzcast. Like I know the songs that he's done, like The Nature, The Threat, and stuff like that. But he wasn't like an artist that I was really checking for like that. But I did know that he was a lyricist. He was good.
I'll say this. I just found out because you know you see on my page I periodically post Bobby Digital songs from the RZA. And I didn't realize that this one song, Razzcast, was on that song. And I forget exactly what it's called. I think it's not Unspoken Word. It's I forget what it's called, but he murders that song before the RZA comes on. And it's incredible. I wasn't a great fan of his though, because there was one brother in the temple. He was like, "Yo, you gotta listen to Razzcast," and he gave me his album, and I listened to it. I was not that. I mean, he definitely got lyrics, but I wasn't all. What's it called? Don wants to come in.
Bring him in.
What'd you say?
Bring him in.
Word up. So for me, Razzcast is you know what I'm saying? But you know, my favorites definitely were what's called my Ice Cube as a lyricist, single. Then you have Cypress Hill. Honorable mention is going to be NWA. And but then there's a lot of people from out there, like the Far Side. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
yeah,
the Far Side was incredible, man.
Yeah, E40. You got solid artists that come out of the West Coast. Yeah. And some who are from the East Coast that kind of got exposed on the West Coast. My favorite MC is King Los. King Los really comes from he's from Baltimore, but he's kind of really exposed a lot from the West Coast. King Los, you know.
Yeah. Then you got the Southern rappers and stuff like that.
Right.
So y'all want to go down there for a second?
Yeah, Scarface is a all timer. Scarface, a legend.
The Ghetto Boys.
So okay, so individual, HOLIP, individual and group.
In the South,
Yeah.
Scarface, group.
Yep.
Man.
Oh,
What about
Outkast? No.
Outkast?
I was ready to say.
Yeah, Outkast.
Ish.
Outkast. Is it Slum Village from the South too?
Slum Village is Midwest. We coming out there. That's Dom's territory.
Midwest. Okay.
Yeah. That's Midwest. We definitely going out there.
Outkast and Scarface.
Yeah, and I definitely say Scarface from, you know, I mean, from that area, from Houston, and probably from as a group. You can't go bad. You can't go wrong with Outkast at all. I'll probably lean towards maybe their overall group, like the whole Dungeon family. I like some of their a lot of the different artists that came from that Dungeon family from Atlanta.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And Jermaine Dupri has done some amazing work as a producer down there too.
Yes.
Can't leave out Jermaine Dupri.
We didn't even mention him. So I got to think for when it comes to individual, but controversially speaking, when it comes to the South, for me, it's going to be Little Brother. It's going to be Little Brother. Yeah, I love.
You were telling me about Little Brother, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like I love Little Brother. When it comes to the South, like the listening, the minstrel show, and the last I think album they did was called Chitlin Circuit. And man, I love Little Brother. I do. The fact that they broke up really, really got on my nerves. As far as an individual artist from the South, I guess I'm going to start out by saying Scarface, but I know it's somebody that I'm overlooking. It's definitely somebody I'm overlooking. I don't know. I don't know offhand. It'll come back to me, but definitely Little Brother as a group. Scarface is nice though. Scarface is nasty, and that era, like that was right before I came into the nation. When I first came up here, they was playing tricks on me, and then I remember when he went solo and he did some solo albums. I was like, this is incredible. You know
Yo, I don't know if you noticed, but my mom, you know, rest in peace. Her favorite hip hop song was My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me.
Oh yeah?
Oh wow.
Everybody loved that song.
Yeah, classic.
Word. You can still, and that's another one. Just like you play that, everybody's gonna get up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna get up if you play that. So let's go to the Midwest, and I'm gonna go first. Midwest, hands down. My favorite group from the Midwest is Slum Village, hands down. However, I'm gonna say not every iteration of Slum Village, because when you get to the later versions of them, I guess they tried to replace Dilla Mail. I'll be pleased with them with this other dude, and I didn't necessarily like that. But my Slum Village is Trey 30, Elzai, Baten, the Trinity. That's my Slum Village trio. You know what I'm saying? You know, with Jay Dilla producing. And Jay Dilla, I don't think that I don't think that we even mentioned how nasty he was as a producer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
And an MC. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what it is. As far as a single rapper, who the hell is from the Midwest though? As an individual rapper, I am not going to give that honor to Common. F that. I like Common, but I can't say he's. I don't know. My thoughts is you guys can tell me your opinion or whatever. I never thought that Common came with a hard enough energy. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't. I didn't. I liked his content. I know he was intelligent, intellectual, whatever. And I've been listening to Common since he was Common Sense, and he had to give that name up. But nevertheless, I never felt like he came with a powerful energy. And I like rappers that come with, you know, powerful machismo, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And I just didn't feel like he came with that. You know what I'm saying? But definitely Slum Village. I don't know like a individual rapper who I could pick from the Midwest.
Oh, for me, it's very easy. I've never seen anybody hop on a track and outdo Royce 5'9" ever.
Oh,
Monster.
indeed.
One of my favorite artists, one of my favorite MCs, goes on track with anybody, and I've seen him hold his own in any arena. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Royce is nice.
What happened? Oh, there he
Can you
is.
hear me?
Huh?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Royce is definitely nice.
Yes, sir.
Dom, you're from the Midwest. Who's your favorite single artist and who's your favorite group?
My favorite single artist from the Midwest, I really don't have one, but my group is Slum Village.
Word.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say Jay Dilla, due to the impact that he had on the entire hip hop culture. He doesn't get credit for the lust flavor that he gave to A Tribe Called Quest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this man created a whole new genre called neo soul.
Word.
You know, and this look, let me talk my shit for a minute about the Midwest, man.
Go ahead.
For the past 20 years, nobody has not been given the Midwest credit. And I'm talking about Chicago, Detroit, all the way down to Memphis. The whole Midwest, and this is not even my opinion, this is just facts, has been holding down hip hop for the past 20 years. We gave the whole world a style. We taught them how to dress. You see these hats with the leather brim and the leather, that comes from the Midwest. That's called a $150. We was doing that before Kanye and them got into hip hop, because that's where it comes from. We didn't gave them a style of rap with the tongue twisting thing. We didn't gave them a sound with neo soul. I mean, Midwest we need to get our credit. Atlantic Records started in the Midwest
Mm-hmm.
because this is why I don't like the media, because the media keep focusing on what the East and West is doing, but never give credit to the Midwest.
Right.
I mean, even if you don't like Nelly held it down for like what, 3 years with his singles always was cracking.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jay-Z had to give him credit.
Yep.
You know, our style is unique, and we really don't bite nobody, but we just don't, like, we got spitters, but it's not like how the East Coast is and how the West Coast is. So when it comes to just style and overall, it's the Midwest. We've been holding it down, man. 20 plus years, man. This is documented, but it's not going to get talked about in the media because we really wasn't beefing with nobody.
Right.
You know?
And you really ain't going to get a fair shake from the media anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things, even for West Coast and East Coast stuff, that they just get wrong, or they don't know what they're talking about because they don't deal with the people that came up during that time.
Yeah, I mean, just look at, like, even though we don't like Kanye West at this point, when he came out,
He was a
he
monster.
changed the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye is the reason why we have Drake, Big Sean, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar. He opened up a new lane.
Yo, you know what? I'm glad you came on, Don, because you just made me realize my favorite rapper from the Midwest is hands down is going to be Elzhi. It's hands down going to be Elzhi. And I'm going to say this, because I'm going to ask y'all a question next, and this is what I've been wanting to get into, the controversial stuff. But in my judgment, if you have somebody on your song, they should not body you. They should not body you. You should come with something much greater. Say what? What do you say?
Shit happens. I said they shouldn't, but shit happens.
So there's a song, you could Google it now, between Little Brother and Elzhi West. It's called Hiding Place. I don't know what happened to that dude that day. He must have took some rap steroids. He demolished both of those dudes on that song. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right, Don?
Let me think. Nah, I probably got to dig in the crates to listen to that song again.
Man, oh my God.
But I was listening to him during that time, though. I just can't remember right now.
was nasty. Don't hand me the jokes. Strangle the hair from your throat like you jump from a chair and choke in midair from a rope. Like that's how it starts. That's how it starts. Like it's incredible. So okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, well, I'm gonna work from the bottom to the top. What song do you think? Listen to the whole question. What song do you think you got to pick one in your recent memory where a dude had somebody feature and it was like he was like, oh no, fuck that. You're not gonna top me, and just rose to the occasion and bodied the person that was a special guest.
Oh man, let me think.
It wouldn't be recent. I can give you a few examples, but it wouldn't be recent examples because I'm not into whatever's going on now, so I couldn't tell you.
Me neither.
But I can give you examples of where that's happened.
Okay, well, let me give you a background so I can get the whole thing started. For me, my number one song like that is a song on Redman's album called Watch Your Nugget. And it's Redman and Eric Sermon. Eric Sermon gets on there with his usual tight, incredible delivery. And it's almost like Redman said, yo, are you kidding me? And just just bodies this dude. Like, that, he demolished Eric Sermon on that song. It's a good song. But it's almost like he's like, you're not finna come on my first album and outdo me.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to beat Red.
That's true too.
I've rarely seen Red get smoked on any song.
So what's yours?
Yeah,
Al?
I agree.
What's yours? Hello?
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many examples of that happening. And sometimes it's like some people, like you said, some people just took their steroids that day. Like
Right.
Common smoked De La Soul on The Business.
Truth be told.
He murdered that shit.
Yep. Truth be told.
Coogee Rap murdered Mobb Deep on that song.
On the
Hey,
realest?
I was just about to bring that up. I was about to bring that up too.
Oh my God, did he? It's almost like he said, I'm going first, and y'all don't have to go behind me.
He spent one of my verses ever in that song. I was like, what the hell?
What verse is that?
Coogee Rap is one of my personal favorites, man. I love that dude.
Yeah, Coogee Rap is a true legend too. Definitely one of my favorites too.
What verse is that, Hollow?
The whole thing.
Okay.
The whole, I can get the lyrics for it, but the whole damn thing, he killed it.
Got you.
Little
Yeah.
Kim. Oh, Little Kim murdered Mobb Deep on a song.
Oh yeah, she definitely did. She definitely did, man.
You know,
Even
I
though
had to ask myself when I heard that, did somebody write that for her? I literally had to ask my cousin.
Well, Biggie's gone, so we can't say he wrote it.
Exactly.
Right.
No, it was incredible. Now, mind you, Prodigy was incredible on that song, though.
He was.
Mhm.
Yeah, that album. P blacked out on a couple tracks on there.
I seen Prodigy blacked out. Oh, there's another example. Prodigy blacked out on Nas on what was it? What's the name of that song? Real Nigga Shit, I think. Yeah, Real Nigga Shit.
I don't remember the song.
The first verse of that song, he said, "Yo, I'm gonna make sure y'all hear me on this."
I think that was on that QB album, the Bridge album they made. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, no, not Real Nigga Shit. Live Nigga Shit. That's what
Live Nigga Shit. I remember that
Live
one.
Nigga
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Prodigy had another verse too when he what's the name of that song with LL Keith Murray? I think he had the best verse.
Oh, somebody
With
said
Foxy
something.
Brown in them.
Somebody said something in the chat that I want to bring to your attention because I think it'll stir up a little bit. So I'm thinking that our good brother here, Thomas Sankara, is implying that AZ bodied Nas on Life's a Bitch. Your thoughts?
He definitely did.
Yep. Yep. Now Nas was good on that song, but AZ went crazy.
Oh yeah.
But I think Jay-Z was accurate when he said that the bodyguard out-rapped Nas on Uchi Wally too.
Yeah. Yeah. He did.
Horse went in.
He did. He did. He had a high verse.
Every time I hear that, man, I can't stop laughing. He did.
Horse went in, man.
So here's why I think that
That was Foster's one.
here's what I think. What you call
Right.
Nas got AZ back. Remember AZ's album, More Money, More Murder, More Homicide?
Yes, I remember that one.
Oh my God. Nas is his verse on that in the mahogany, black scenery, it was lightning and raindrops. Like he killed that song. AZ was nice, but Nas took it to another level on that song. So
yeah,
Dom,
I agree. Nas went in his bag on that one. I agree. Somebody,
your camera's off.
somebody,
Dom, your camera's off, bro. Oh, there you go. So Ish, give me an instance in which I'm sorry, we was able to see certain things just now. But anyway, give me an instance, bro, where you feel like somebody invited somebody onto their track and they bodied them.
Well, I know when somebody tried to jump on somebody's track and they let it be known that I'm the king of this motherfucker. And that was when DOC invited NWA on the grand finale. DOC was like, look, I'm gonna let it be known that I write for you all. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna come on my track and I'll do me. He came out the gate like singing, swinging. I mean, he came out like just out the gate on some raw shit. So that was an unbelievable one. I see sometimes where people kind of came up a little short. I did not like that Eminem Renegade track with Jay-Z. I felt like it was just too much respect between both and them not trying to really go in, which ended up being a disappointment to me because I think Eminem is an unbelievable lyricist. And I think that sometimes people kind of just kind of get into a different space with him on a track.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've seen somewhere just sometimes they just let it be known. Now, the cannabis one, the 543.
Oh yeah,
that joint right there. That was a tough lineup, man. That was a tough lineup.
Lord,
and the Biggie one, with the Flavor in Your Ear remix.
Oh yeah.
Craig Mack was like, I'm sick of this nigga, man.
You know what I'm saying? He had to get it where he fit it on his own track, yo.
Indeed. And then you had the remix where Busta got some work on it too.
Yeah, exactly. You
don't forget LL.
Right.
And like me and you were talking about this before, Minister. I think the last conversation we had, like Wu-Tang was so great as a group because everybody fed off of each other. So people who like they would come off above their weight. Perfect example, like you got murdered Black Jesus.
He did.
Murdered it. Like that's one of the best verses I've ever heard spit.
He dug his bag on that one. That's true.
But his album came out and
Yep.
Yeah.
But when they were around each other, they just feed off of each other. Like you remember let's talk about Nas, Verbal Intercourse.
Oh God.
One of the best verses ever.
See, you know what? I respect dudes who could cram 6,000 words into one sentence and it doesn't look like he's falling off. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, one of the earliest symptoms that you've fallen off is number one, you rap off beat. Number two, you trying to cram too many words into one sentence. Number three, whereas you had a lot of different ways to attack a rhyme, now you got one straight cadence and that's it. Those are the three top ways I think you've fallen off. Because when Big Daddy Kane came out with that album where he's got the hoodie on, the projects, all of the above applied. And but on that Verbal Intercourse, Nas starts out and he just crams a whole bunch of words in the beginning, and somehow he makes it work. But so let's get on to let's talk about our groups. But what I want to do also is I want to find out where you was in this era. So the class era, you had Tribe Called Quest come out, you had De La Soul come out, you had a whole bunch of different now on one side peaceful groups, and then you had another side is you started getting into street violence and selling drugs and things like that. Where were you during the crack era when hip hop started shifting into this? Like, where were you in your life?
I was a little boy.
During the crack era.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like late '80s. I think I was graduating high school. I graduated '89. That's when the crack era really hit. The first Bush was the president, so we were going through the first Bush recession, and all of the good crack rap started coming out slowly but surely. Where was you in your life? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did you use hip hop to deal with that?
So you're talking about right before Public Enemy?
No, in that era, with Public Enemy, because I remember when Night of the Living Bassheads had come out. That's when, you know what I'm saying? Because I have a theory. I believe, or just a feeling, I believe black people eventually adapted to crack. Because when it first came out, remember how crazy we was? How you had chicks just running around 3 o'clock in the morning with their eyes bust out, and that's why Night of the Living Bassheads came out. But eventually, you started seeing more and more people functional but on crack. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to ask if they was or not. Whereas back in the day when it first came out, there was no asking. Everybody knew you was on crack when you was on it because you had that crazy themed out look.
Everybody was on the Enterprise.
And I think the irony of that is that as they were performing Night of the Living Basshead live on the stage, a crack valve fell out of Flavor Flav's pocket.
Right. Right.
Go figure.
Yo, I want to ask y'all something.
What's that?
What's your favorite hip hop lyric?
Oh God.
I'm not talking about, you don't have to spit a whole verse. What's the lyric that hit you the most, or the one that you feel is the most artistic expression of hip hop? Whatever you felt about it. Like, what's your favorite hip hop line?
You take 7 MCs, put them in a line. Take 7 more MCs who think they can rhyme. It'll take 7 more before I go for mine. And that's 21 MCs that up at the same time. Classic. Word.
Yeah.
Dom?
I don't even know, man. It's so many I can't even think right now.
I know,
but that Rock version is classic though.
Yeah.
Well, give us one that really means something to you.
Hello?
I think he's thinking.
Oh, who you talking to, Dom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm interested to hear what you got to say.
Just skip me for right now. It's so much.
Okay, so for me, from our era, I want to say Big Daddy Kane. Every word to be just like surgery, cutting you open, so rush to emergency, or even bow to your knees and bend low, or get played like a game of Nintendo. Remember that?
Clever, just clever.
I ain't a child, that's why I don't smile. You know what I'm saying? That right there. That right there. Every word to be, because I remember saying that 1,000. That comes from a Big Daddy Kane Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was the joint. And if you remember, in the beginning of Mortal Kombat, they had Farrakhan in the beginning, and then the horns come in, and it's like that song used to get me so charged up. That's kind of like one of my favorite lyrics of all time.
Wow. I got 2. It's a tie.
Okay.
I think that but these 2 lines I think best express hip hop. First is Rakim. What he said, I start to think and then I sink into the paper as if I was ink.
Yes.
When I'm writing, I'm trapped in between the line. I escape when I finish the rhyme.
Yeah.
That's the first. The second is Kool G Rap. My brain is like a factory constantly creating materials stitch by stitch for decoration. Lyrics are fabric, beat is the lining. My passion in rhyming is fashion designing. That line right there is so fucking dope. I can't even explain how dope that line is.
Fire. Fire.
Give us one, Dom.
Man, I'm trying to think, man. There's so many. Like, seriously.
It's a lot.
I mean, my brain is scattered right now, man. I'm trying to think of somebody from the East, West, Midwest, down South. Just so many, man.
Okay, so you know what? I'm going to refine this search for a second. What is your favorite? Let's go from group to group. What is your favorite Wu-Tang lyric of all time?
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's a tough one. That's a tough one, man, because they got so many.
I'm thinking really hard right now myself. I know it's going to be a Ghostface lyric, so get prepared.
I think the most flyest intro of a song, I bomb atomically,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Socrates philosophy, and
Mhm.
how I mean, come on, man.
yeah, yeah.
Word.
I mean,
Suspected that.
Socrates can't be stopping these mockeries. Like, come on, lyrically
Yeah.
perform armed robbery. Like, come on, that was just a fierce intro, almost untouchable intro.
Deck has so many, man. God damn, I can't think. It's like he has so many great lines. I can't even put it in an order.
Isn't it like a crime that none of his solo albums were good?
Well, like I said, they're a great group. Like when you put them all together, they feed off of each other and they bring out the best in each other. So that's why if you look at their albums, it's like there's so many people that just come off on a certain track and they're still a track, and then another person is still a track. It's because they're constantly competing with one another.
Hmm.
But when you get them alone, they don't really have anybody to feed off of. So You God is the perfect example, because if you put You God with the Crew, You God is a fucking monster.
Right.
But you separate him away from them, it's like he can't hold it on his own.
Hmm. So what was yours again? Your favorite Wu-Tang lyric?
Mine?
I got two. My number one, is going to be, and this is off the top of my head. It's going to be what? It's going to be from Killer Bees. I know because I've ran that freaking album into the ground. It's going to be what's that song?
I can just name, like, if I would have to name something that just comes straight to my head, it wouldn't be the best, but it would just be something that's memorable. And it's from Deck.
Okay.
Run fast, here comes the verbal assaulter. Rhymes running wild like a child in a walker.
Oh yeah, yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm trying to head out to the Genius. Cause
Genius is enough. Do you remember Living in the World Today from his album?
Yes.
The second verse on that track is one of the best verses I've ever heard written. You got to revisit that song and listen to the second verse on that cut.
You know what I love about that song so much? The Genius is one of those dudes who is so nice that he just does stupid shit on purpose. And in that song, it's like he jumps on beat in the middle of the beat like he's playing double dutch and still works it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like he purposely sets himself back and then jumps on the beat and catches up. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I was like, when I bought that out because I had the CD, I was like, who the hell is this? Because I got to the Wu-Tang party late. You know what I'm saying? Like when it first came out, like I said, I was in my sanctimonious stage. So I was like, I'm not listening to that kind of hip hop or whatever. And then finally it just overcame me. And what overcame me was Cuban Links. Somebody had bought Cuban Links. I remember it was the end of the day. I was collecting turning or whatever. And they said, Brother Lieutenant, take this and go home with it. And I was like,
that's a hell of a tape to go home with, boy. That was a fire ass album.
Yep, just go home. I said, I don't listen to it. He said, look, just go home with this. When you get home and you take your clothes off, whatever, and you're home for the night, throw this bad boy on and just sit down and listen to it. And from Knowledge God on, I just was like, wow. I sat there and listened to the whole album that night for like, wow. Like Knowledge God kind of knocked me on my behind. But in all reality, the early song that I liked the most was like Heaven and Hell. I loved Heaven and Hell.
Oh, that's my favorite. That is my favorite right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the interaction between him and Ghostface, it's incredible. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what started the whole thing. But I kind of like, in the beginning, because it's crazy. People don't really acknowledge this. In the beginning, a lot of people was trying to devalue Ghostface and say, we don't know what he's talking about. We don't know. And it's funny how he turned out to be, like the nicest one in the group ultimately. You know what I'm saying? Eventually,
Yeah, him and Ray is like.
What happened, Dom?
Yeah. Dom got cut.
Oh, he must have gone to a bad
Yeah,
spot.
some of the flow between him and Ray. Yeah.
You heard?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay. Well, it was chopping up.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
You were talking about him and Ray,
Completely
and
out.
then it went out after.
Yeah, all we heard
saying-
was you and Ray, and that was it. Go ahead.
Okay. Nah, I was just saying, like, yeah, they the face of Wu-Tang to me, man. And then come Method Man, but them two, they the best.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah,
So-
Ray, Ghost is definitely the most consistent.
And I know we're talking about like Wu-Tang right now, but I know somebody mentioned about back and forth. One of the best back and forths on a lyric outside of Wu-Tang Clan was Big Pun and Fat Joe. You know, that riff dead in the middle, a little
Yeah.
do we know we riddle to middlemen who didn't do diddly, and then you're just going back and forth. The back and forth, the tightness of it is amazing between those two.
I'll give you another example
Definitely.
of that one too. Cool G Rap and Nas, Fast Life.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and Run DMC got some good ones, but yeah, those two, Coogee Rap, yeah, Nas, that was real tight.
That's like almost like his godfather, though. You know what I'm saying? Like he said that on many times, but that I think that at some point that's what the younger kids called him, Coogee Rap. They called him the Godfather because they all like tried to pattern themselves after him.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's fact.
yo, how about this? Did y'all hear? I would say, and this is up to interpretation. Big Pun is the only person I've seen get Black Thought on a track.
Oh, I know what track you talking about too.
Yeah,
He's the only
Yeah.
person, and that's not an easy thing to do.
no,
It's definitely not.
yeah,
But I think he got him on that track.
Man. You can win.
yeah. One of those rare moments, and Pun's got that skill to do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pun was nasty.
I guess we should head out to Philly, huh?
Oh Lord,
Philly got the best spitters, man.
Oh my
You talking
God.
about spitters? Philly got the best spitters, man.
Yo, that
Who's your
Roots
favorite?
album, man, Illadelph Half-Life.
Yes.
Come on.
Dom, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite Philly rapper, individual?
Y'all may kill me for this, but I got Meek Mill. But then if we want to go like battle rappers, I mean like Reed Dollars, Vodka. I mean, it's so many in Philadelphia, man. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
What's the name of the son?
Seriously.
I'm forgetting his name. The dude that he's nice as hell, but he kept getting in trouble.
From Philly?
Barry Allen Reese.
Oh, but my boy's Petey Crack.
Yeah,
I like
Petey.
Petey Crack.
His flow is monstrous.
What's his name there? Barry Allen Reese. What's his MC name?
Barry Allen Reese.
Yeah, because I just know he had an album. It's called the Barry Allen Reese Story. But what's his name? I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler.
Oh, Cassidy.
Yeah. Cassidy's my favorite.
Yeah.
Cassidy's my favorite individual rapper from Philly, hands down. Cassidy is incredible.
Are you talking about based on what? Like freestyles or songs?
Freestyles.
Okay. I was getting ready to say, because I don't know Cassidy songs.
Honestly, the only real song I like that I can really listen to over time is I'm a Hustler. That's it. Honestly, that's really it. You know? Is Smoothie Hustlers from New York though, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think they from Brooklyn.
Got you.
I mean,
Yeah.
Beans is an unreal Philly artist. Beans is
true.
nice, man.
Yeah, Beans, Gilly the Kid.
But I
mean-
feel like after I mean, I've always been a Black Thought fan, but since he put the fucking Bible, like the stamp down with that freestyle, Black Thought's my favorite individual Philly rapper.
Got you.
Yeah, he's earned that crown, and I've yet to see anybody do one as great as that.
Vic Shepard says he likes Freeway and Beans. What y'all feel about Freeway? I like Freeway, but I can't buy a Freeway album. What do you think?
I'm not a Freeway fan. When I saw Get Bodied by Cassidy, like back in the days, no.
Hey, cut the beat on, Ish. Cut the beat.
Turn the beat on.
Yo,
Jay-Z looking away, trying not to make eye contact. I don't want this pit bull to lock on me, so let me just look away.
It's messed up when you're more remembered for your stellar performance in a movie than your rap career.
Yeah, facts.
Here, it's
Yeah.
me. It's me, Ping.
Facts.
You know, PD Crack had the potential to be a star, but The Rock railroaded his career, man.
Minister. Oh, he puts me on mute.
Yeah, nah, my
Probably on mute.
what's up?
What was I going to ask you about? Let's talk about people who were cut short and how you see them in the grand scheme of Miguel.
Okay, give me an example of this.
Well, where would you place him? Because he didn't really have like a large resume because he was cut short.
Who?
Same
Big
thing,
L?
Big L.
Listen, I know I'm going to come off as blaspheming, but I did not listen to a lot of Big L, unfortunately. So I'm not going to speak on something I don't really know that much about. I never really listened to a lot of Big L. And I haven't taken the time to listen to Big L. So I'm gonna have to bow out of this part. I'm gonna have to let y'all talk about it.
I'm gonna definitely have to send you some Big L stuff then,
Okay.
because he was incredible.
Yeah,
This dude
Big L
was,
had the respect of being your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
yeah,
Mhm.
And if your man was better, put him in the booth and get bodied right quick. Big L
Yeah.
was he was a monster, and he was respected in every arena because of his skill. So yeah, he was unreal. I would go with DOC as the one and done king as far as undisputed and career cut short. I think he had
Yeah.
the potential for his vocal cords to get cut. I just think he was just one of the goats on the path.
Wait, who was that? I didn't hear you.
DOC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was tragic, man. It was a car accident that took out his vocal cords, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Went through the windshield and cut his vocal cords. Yeah.
Wow, that is not.
Yeah. But
So
Big L had Nas. Nas even said, like, man, Big L kind of had me shook. That came out of Nas' mouth.
Yeah.
So you know he was the truth back then.
And he
Oh, yeah.
killed Jay-Z on that freestyle too. That
Yes.
freestyle he did. He bodied Jay-Z on that.
Well, really,
Oh,
I gotta
man.
send Minister the freestyle that he did where he was on a radio show and he said that he was tired. And then he goes out and busts out this freestyle.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Big L's a monster. Yeah.
I'm kind of tired right now.
who else fits this description though? Who else fits the description of cut short?
Biggie?
Yeah.
Definitely Biggie, man. He was just well-rounded, man. He had it all. I mean, he could give you the hardcore, the party music, the music for the ladies. I mean, yeah, that was the biggest hip-hop star, in my opinion.
Word.
And correct. I mean, I see the statement was made that neo soul was started in the Midwest. I beg to differ on that because I was at the ground level of the neo soul movement. Through one of the producers that was one of the inventors of it, which was his name is Ike Lee III. And Ike Lee III introduced me to Biggie, and we was in the studio with him when he did songs with some of the artists. And yeah, Big was an unbelievable artist at the time. But Kedar Massenberg, he had signed my homeboy. That's how I know where Neo Soul started, because he signed my homeboy Chuck and their group Deja Groove. And Deja Groove came out with Erykah Badu. And then Kedar Massenberg took over Motown Records. But he coined that phrase Neo Soul, and he brought in a lot of Neo Soul artists like D'Angelo and Erykah Badu and different artists. So, yeah, Deja Groove is the group name, and he did a song with Rakim back in the days.
I will say that the Midwest picked that banner up and took it to a next level, because you started really hearing like Nationhood coming out of Nationhood, freaking Patrick on Nationhood in the chat room. You started hearing Neo Soul come out of the West. Like, I believe it started really banging with Dwelle. I could be wrong, But when Dwelle came out, I remember, because I'm gonna tell you something that's kind of embarrassing, but it turned out to be good. Like when I first heard Slum Village, I was so in love with Slum Village. I wanted to get anything associated with them. So I remember going to Borders bookstore, and I was like, oh man, because I thought that, believe it or not, I thought Batin was Dwelle. And the reason being is I was reading the album cover, and I was like, well, that must be the dude's name, because he didn't on Trinity. Batin never says his own name. You know what I'm saying? And so, long story short, I went there and I saw the album. I said, oh, this is the guy that keep giving credit on the album. This must be Batin. And I remember throwing the album in, and that first song, or with the first interlude, where I guess Dwelle is talking to that old man with that crazy beat. I was like, what the hell is this? But after that, a whole bunch of really nice artists came out of the Midwest, man. And I don't know. I to me, the greatest failure is somehow we let that go, because I don't know what the hell R&B looks like today. I have no idea. I have no idea. I can't get into Trey songs. I can't get into none of these people from nowadays. But
I can't either.
Lord have mercy. But you were gonna say something about
yeah, me either.
Don?
I gotta send you some Big L, man.
You said what, Daru?
I said
That's a crime.
So, big brother, Don?
Nah, I was just saying, you know what? Ish probably is right when it comes down to that, but it was just like the Midwest kind of like, you know, established that, you know,
Indeed.
like had a foothold on it, you know.
Yep. I don't know what happened though.
I don't either, man. It's, you know what happens? This is what I believe. Like, you know, like once that glue, once that person leaves, everything just falls apart, man.
Right.
Because like Jay Dilla really was the glue. I mean, like a lot of artists just went to him for the beats, and you know, once he passed away, that sound started to fade.
Word.
You know, Erykah Badu tries to keep it alive, but I mean, that's about it.
Right.
Yeah, Jay Dilla's unreal, man. He's one of the GOATs too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mention Madlib from the West Coast.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Definitely a monster. Like, yeah, the sound still survived with him, but you know, like if you really not like I ain't say like a hip hop head. If you really not into music like that, then you won't know about Madlib.
Right.
And the man, he's still relevant too. Like, it's another thing. He just made this. It was his second album with Freddie Gibbs, and Freddie Gibbs is from the Midwest. Right now, Freddie Gibbs is like the biggest artist right now. It's like commercially and lyrically, and he made an album with Madlib. But you know, the media is not going to say that, oh, Freddie's from the Midwest, Gary, Indiana. They're going to say Freddie Gibbs and Madlib made this album.
Right.
It's like we still keeping it alive, man. So that's why I said what I said.
Right. So let me ask y'all this, and I think this is going to be my last question, and I'm going to have to kirk out for the day. But so now we all can agree that your era of music kind of is synonymous and indigenous to what you're going through at that time. Our music really reflected the crack era, the post-crack era, and the prior crack era. And now you have the rap that they have out now, and it represents young people's music. Me and HOLIP was having this discussion the other day, because I said to them, I said, Jay Electronica and Jay-Z released an album just recently, and if I ask my children, did they hear it, they're going to look at me and say, who? You know, they know who Jay-Z is, but they damn sure don't know who Jay Electronica is. And that's okay for me, because I understand that our music doesn't relate to them. It's not the same thing to them. It doesn't really reflect it doesn't reflect our time. So what era does hip hop mean to you? Like when you think of hip hop when you was younger, what does it mean to you? And I'm gonna go first so I can give you our context to answer the question. Hip hop to me represents me coming up, growing up as a man. It is totally synonymous with my entire Nation of Islam existence, because any song that I have reminds me of soldiering someplace, or someplace we went to do a message at, or like security for Sister Soldier here. Like every, you know what I'm saying? Like I would ride with younger brothers in the car, and I'd be like, yeah, they come out with a song. I'd be like, oh man, I remember we was there, and they'd be like, damn, brother Minister, you've been in the Nation of Islam for a long time, because it'd be really old music. Like, processing during that. But I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. All my memories are synonymous with my 20s and me growing up in the Nation, and also kind of Black people navigating the crack era. What does hip hop mean to you in your life during those times? Brother Ish?
I mean, hip hop as a whole, as a culture, is just as sacred to me. If I'm looking at today being Easter, hip hop is just as sacred to me as Easter. You know, it's an expression of who I am. I'm a B-boy. That's who I am. I wanted to make sure that the spouse that I marry is a B girl that understands the culture, that my children are embraced by the culture, that they understand how important it is to me. I have an entire, garage full of Source magazine, starting from issue number 3 on up until I don't know how many years. So this is who I am, and I carry that with me. I carry that spirit of rebellion, that spirit of consciousness, that spirit of unity, and who I reach out to, and the way that I express myself is rooted in hip hop. That's who, and I have squatters' rights to that. When you're in the park and you're in those clubs and you've gone and you fought those battles of other cultures trying to shut you down, you embrace those squatters' rights, and you let them know that this is who I am and I'm not going away. So that same rebellion that we would fight, back in the days, is the same rebellion that I fight today in trying to create nationhood for my people. Indeed. So it's synonymous of who I am.
Well said. Very well said. HOLIP?
When I think of hip hop, I think that all of us came up when New York was the best to be at. That was the best place to be when we were coming up. Right. And one of the things that made New York so great was New York in the summertime. Like it was like New York in the summertime is like no place ever that I've ever been. Well, I would say used to be. It's not that way anymore. So when I think about, and this is sort of ties in with Big Dev, who passed. And to me, when Dev passed, that version of Brooklyn kind of died for me. Like he represented that. And the ironic part about it is one of my favorite songs that I love that I feel captured the body of Brooklyn was this song by Smith & Wesson called Bucktown. And guess who produced it? Dev.
Wow.
And isn't it ironic that me and him would end up being best friends?
Wow.
And this was before I even knew. Like when I found out that he was actually behind that, I was like, oh shit, like we was meant to meet. So I just hip hop for me reminded me of a time when New York was original, when New York wasn't biting, when New York had an identity.
Right.
Like I look at Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar is a Brooklyn dude.
Yep.
He's a Brooklyn dude.
Yep.
And it used to be where you can recognize that anywhere. I could recognize an Uptown dude. I recognize a Brooklyn dude. I recognize a Queens dude. We had a unique feel and look and vibe. And that's just, for me, it's gone right now. So,
yo, let me say this before I get to Dom. Nothing is more abundantly apparent than the first time I listened to In the Paint, and I remember hearing Mac's voice, and I was like, that nigga's from Brooklyn.
not only is he from Brooklyn, he's from Brownsville.
Yes. He sounds like it. He feels like it. When you meet him in person, it's all over him. And I tease him a lot because he lives in Flushing, so I call him a fly ass Queens dude. But he's 1000% Brooklyn, bro. Like without a doubt. And you're right. Like back in those days, man. Oh my God! Everywhere you would go, somebody was plugging into an outside light because for whatever reason, people don't know that outside lights had sockets on them. And you could plug in and set up DJ equipment and stuff like that. And and it was beautiful. And you know what, Ish? I did a lot of soldiering in Syracuse. And one thing I know is that, hip hop is alive and well, at least when I was doing it back in the day, in the late 90s, hip hop was alive and well. You'd hear it banging all the way down South Salina, all the way down South Salina.
That was our lifeline, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And you would hear bang, because I would stand on the corner there. We didn't sell too many papers over there. It would be at this other place right before you get on the highway. But when we used to take the corners in South Salina, you would always hear whatever was new. Like I remember when Erykah Badu's Bag Lady first came out, man, they had all sorts of remixes banging up and down that street. And to be very honest with you, there was a record shop at the very end of South Salina, right next to that Burger King. And we would always stop in there on break. And there was a Spanish sister that used to be there, and she knew hip hop like nobody I knew. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I bought my first Pharaoh Monch. Syracuse definitely, and I sold it in all the projects there. And you go in the projects and hip hop be banging in the projects there. So Syracuse definitely got hip hop in it. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. We came up through all of that culture. Absolutely.
And Dom, you being a basketball head, you'd be near and did this. So a lot of times we would take a break at that Burger King there, and they had all the Syracuse basketball stars and pictures on the walls in this Burger King. Like they had Mashburn, they had Derek Coleman. Mashburn was
no, Mashburn went to Kentucky. But yeah, we had legends come through Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm confused. It was the DC was on that wall. Derek Coleman, Billy Owens was on that wall.
Yeah.
I think Sherman Douglas was on that wall in the Burger King.
Yeah, Pearl Washington, they'd all come in there too. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, that's how you know a city is like really in tune with the people that live there. When the Burger King got freaking, all of the basketball stars on it and stuff like that. So I loved going up there, man. I really did. And because the FY up there really wasn't doing any job. Come up there, soldier behind it. So Dom, hip hop. What does it mean to you?
I mean, hip hop is life, man. It's like hip hop. It literally raised me. You know what I'm saying? Besides my parents, but it did. I mean, just to like what we going through right now with this crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And a Prodigy verse pops in my head. It's a war going on outside and no man is safe from it.
Right.
Like I eat, sleep, and breathe this.
Word.
Down to the fashion. It's like, even when the N1 mixtapes came out and they had music playing while the people was dribbling the ball doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
From the way that I talk, the way that I dress. I mean, I'm hip hop. I don't care what nobody say. Like a lot of people be trying to make fun of me, like, why you sound like that? You live in Chicago. I'm Chicago all day.
Right.
Like, you come out here, I'm gonna show you everything. But I mean, just everything about me is just hip hop.
Word.
But see, this is the thing. Like, I don't. I'm not a person that worship it like other people, but I just embody it, man. And I pay attention to everything because it keeps me going, but it's not like the number one important thing in my life.
Right.
I also wanted to point out something before we go. Also, if I may,
go ahead.
The same way that HOLIP was kind of explaining his connection with Dev and the irony of those two meeting together, I felt that same kind of connection of being able to hear Dr. Khaled on Public Enemy tracks back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And then being in the military, that's when I was overseas in Japan. And then we went to San Diego. And I went to this pink church. It was called Calvary Baptist Church in San Diego. And Minister Farrakhan was speaking there. And I didn't know that they had an area for military people. So I took 9 of my buddies with me, and we all went to the church to go hear Minister Farrakhan speak. But as we went out to the front of the church, they I guess they could look at us and see that we didn't have jerry curls. So we was in the military. So they told us to go over to this side of the church. And as we went over to this side of the church, there was a brother that was rounding up all of the military people to go take them where they needed to go. And it was Dr. Khaled. I had not seen Dr. Khaled before, but I heard his voice from the Public Enemy tracks and identified who that was. Because remember, back in the days, all we had was tapes. So we
Right.
had tapes of Dr. Khaled, you know, the white woman's a bitch, or you know, whatever the you know the tapes were.
Who is that mystery devil? Yep.
Yes, exactly. I identified that voice. Said that's the voice from the tape, and that's how I first met Dr. Khaled, and he sat us where we needed to go. And then Minister Farrakhan had a special message for us, being in the military, you know, as a part of his healing tour. So that's how important hip hop.
Right.
They had merged the Nation of Islam and the culture that touched, you know, many young lives like myself at that time.
Right.
So salute to that.
Indeed, bro.
Oh, one more thing I want to say too about hip hop,
bro. Go ahead.
You know, during the time when I was coming up, and you all too, hip hop really guided us on how to navigate in the streets. It guided us how to, you know, mingle with the women. You don't hear that no more.
Right.
And that's the sad part about it. Because, you know, listening to Prodigy and you go outside every day, he was really guiding you on how to carry yourself and what to look out for, you know? Even listening to, you know, Tupac, you know, you throw on Biggie, you get fly, and you know what I'm saying, get with the ladies and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, you listen to Too Short. He tell you what to watch out for with the women.
Yep.
You know, I mean, man, I miss that, you know, but it can't live forever. So that's why you have to keep that stuff, you know, and don't, you know, fall off track and get caught up in this new madness, because they not teaching, man. The only thing they doing is just crying,
putting you to sleep, really.
They crying and complaining, and I'm like, how y'all listen to this stuff?
I know, and the artists today, they'll put a dress on a guy, so their messages are different. The messages of what they're teaching the generation are going to be contrary to a lot of the messages that we kind of came up understanding. You know.
Yeah.
Yo, let me Don, let me add to what you said just now. This verse right here tells you, if you are young and you listen to this song, you have any doubt as to what Dom said, this verse right here solidifies what he said as far as hip hop teaches you whatever. I opened my eyes to the streets that I was raised as a man and learned to use my hands for protection and for trouble. All my blows and doubles. I'm coming from Queens, motherfucker, carrying guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, that rap right there gives you an education as to how you should go about navigating the streets. And if somebody tries to front on you, what should you do to protect yourself? Like, what music today is giving that kind of comprehensive lesson as to how to, you know what I'm saying?
To me, music should reflect the time. You know, like when Shook Ones came out, I remember like one of my friends who's like college educated, you know, she's not in the streets at all, but she was feeling Shook Ones. Because Shook Ones was capturing a vibe that was going on at the time. You know, it's like that's what I remember about songs. And to me, once you lose the artistry and the skill, you pretty much lost me. It's I don't put it down, I don't judge it, but it's not me.
Right.
It's just not me. I can't relate to it.
Right. Word.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Back in the days, it would be unheard of from somebody coming from another culture to outdo us in our own shit. That would be an embarrassment.
Yep.
But people have no problem with it now, so hey, that's on y'all.
Oh, and hip hop brought out the inner nerd in us. Comic books.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
You know, drop a little science here, science there. You like, oh, okay, you speaking my language though, but you know, let me still keep my cool face on.
Right.
Yeah, I think that brought up the realness of the complexities of who we are. You know, we can relate to Wu-Tang talking about Chinese movies, because if I woke up in Saturday morning and want to watch Kung Fu Theater, they're talking to me like they're my cousin.
Right.
About Marvel comics, I can go and I can understand exactly what they're talking about because I was a Marvel comic head too, and that's who I am. So yes, I'm real in the streets, but yes, I'm a geek, and yes, I'm this, and yes, I'm that. But that's an expression of who I am. You know, you're speaking to me.
Man, bro. Damn, we got to do this again, fellas.
We do, because I could go on and on. Come on, man.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Hopefully we'll get THURO on next time.
Yeah, man. What happened to him? I posted on his timeline. He didn't come. But listen, it doesn't matter. Dom, you was a great addition. I will definitely tag you in it. We'll try to do this maybe 2 weeks from now because I need some time to come up with some really thought-provoking questions. And I think we had a really good discussion today. So for all y'all that enjoyed us, I thank you for coming here. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Salam alaikum, hotep, peace, Black African power.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey, Daoud.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna send you a message after this, all right?
Okay, big brother.